Our vision is very bold. I will say it. Our vision is solving chronic homelessness through community. And while solving can be such an interesting word, it's almost arrogant in a sense. But the definition of solving is effectively dealing with, and that's what we're doing. We will effectively deal with chronic homelessness in our town through the solution that we're currently working on. I think that I've been actively serving here in Huntsville for the past 3 years, and I have never done anything like this before, but always been very compassionate about people. And so I worked in Dallas, Texas, a couple of summers, and I would fly out and fly back and fly out. And while I was there, we had a clinic in the Dallas area where it was like a one-stop shop where they could the homeless community there could get their IDs or insurance or whatever that may be. So that's where I first really saw it. It was in my face. I'm from a small town, Alabama. Homelessness was not very huge there, so it was not something that you would just see, driving to and from with your parents. We just didn't see it. I think that's when my eyes were really first opened up to it. And then when we moved to Huntsville, I caught a glimpse of Tent City over 565 Exchange, so you could see all the tops of the tents. And I'm like, okay, there it is. I got to find it. And I did. And then I've been headstrong and fully involved ever since then. There's a project in Austin, Texas called Community First Village, and I would say a good year and a half into my active serving the homeless community here in Huntsville, I stumbled across the video. When I saw that, I thought, this is it. I've been looking for some type of solution, some type of way to make a difference other than doing what we're doing, because what we're doing is not working. And there was a lot of frustration there and a lot of brick walls that we would hit when trying to actually house people that we felt that were ready to be housed. We ran into just a tangled red web of it was just not working. And so when I saw that video, I thought, oh, it's it. And we've been actively pursuing that for an entire year. And we've visited. They have a symposium that they do 2 or 3 times a year where you can go in and they open up their books and say, hey, this is what we're doing. We would love for you to replicate that, and that's what we hope to do here. The Easter dinner specifically was hosted by Serving Huntsville Homeless Together, the Bearded Warriors 2820, and then we had 2 food trucks, Bad News Barbecue and Fire and Spice. And it was such a cool event. We actually started Serving Huntsville Homeless Together, and let me be very clear, it is not a 501c3. It is a social media platform, and that's it, because this town has enough 501c3s. And I started Serving Huntsville Homeless Together because, and I've known this for a very long time, I just got fed up. We're duplicating and replicating each other throughout this town. We absolutely are. The day that I got fed up and said, okay, I'm done, I'm going to start this social media site and we'll just see what happens, we had taken a youth street retreat up and down University, handing out peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and water, and it was a great day, but we did have some leftovers, so I thought, it would be nice to allow the youth to see what we see on a daily basis, just pop in and out. They're not there for a very long period of time, and we can take our leftover PB&Js and water, and if they want them, they can have them. Well, one of the people in the camps, Batman, I said, Batman, do you want a PB&J, water? I've got some granola bars. He's like, Mandy, if you give me one more granola bar, I'm going to throw up. Like, don't. And so I started asking around. We were the 5th group that had been out there that Sunday, or Saturday. It was a Saturday. So we were the 5th group that had been out on Saturday, and as we were leaving, the 6th was arriving, which tells you that they're eating 5 or 6 times a day. And so that's the day that I got fed up. And I'm like, no, we've got to do things differently. I think we're better together. And I think that's how we should approach homelessness in our community. We have a very loving, giving, beautiful community here in Huntsville, and we're very aware what's happening to an extent. So with Huntsville, we know that our homeless numbers are growing. There is an organization here in town that will do a point-in-time count every January. I feel that those numbers are somewhat inaccurate because January is a hard month to get accurate counts. It's either too cold or, people are finding shelter, couch surfing, or whatever that may be. And so I feel that those numbers are skewed. And then there's another organization that has actually done a 5-year projection on what our homeless numbers will look like here in Huntsville. And I think with Huntsville specifically, we're such a huge city and we have so many different little pockets everywhere that homelessness is not in just one section. It's not, you just can't just see it everywhere. There's a lot of camps in the downtown area. There's homeless in Athens. You go all the way down University and close to where Sam's and Old Monrovia Road. There's homeless camps out that way. You go down South Parkway and you hit Ditto Landing and Whitesburg Bridge. There's homelessness out there. You go up North Parkway and you start looking around Washington and areas out in that section. There's homelessness out there. Then you have the Downtown Rescue Mission and Salvation Army, which is a harbor for homelessness. We have so much, but it's so hard to see how big that is. So we have a huge problem, huge problem, huge problem, but no one else can see it, how large it is. And if they do, that's great, which brings me to my next point. What are we doing about it? What are we doing about it? And is what we're currently doing about it good enough?
I just can't take it anymore. Oh, when I'm gonna be all alone. Come on back, baby. Oh, baby, what's please? Come back home. Yeah. Come on back, baby, yeah. Oh, baby, what's please? Come on back home, yeah. I just can't take it anymore. Oh, when I'm gonna be all alone, yeah. Ain't gonna do you, oh baby, ain't gonna do you no more wrong. Ain't gonna do you, oh baby, ain't gonna do you no more wrong.
Oddly enough, the word solving, if you judge the word solving by the word itself, you may think that I'm arrogant, but if you look at homelessness and you say stereotypically, oh, that's just a homeless person because they're addicted to alcohol, but you don't really look into the story about Wild Bill and say, oh my gosh, he lived with his parents until he was 40, then you're judging Wild Bill and you're judging the fact that he's homeless. So think that it's cool, solving, and you're judging the word by the word and homelessness, and you're judging homelessness by homelessness. But my job is to open both the word and the community up so you can see that. I want people to see it, and I want people to know that there is a solution. And I do want to break down stereotypes. And solving may be arrogant, but if you look at the definition, it's actually pretty humbling.